to the Ignis Sport channel. Today we're covering new suspension. Our numbers for all the parts you need. €641 for all the suspension components, less the rear springs. Approximately £200 on top of that for your top mounts and top mount bearings. These are an old car and these parts are worn out. If you want Bangonomics, it's best to have a second car, such as an old horrible diesel like this. So in Germany, delivered the parts via DHL, left in the dustbin for safekeeping. This enables me to verify that the rear shocks are gas, KYBs, OEM shock, Genuine Suzuki, the only ones available. Super short rods on these because the car's lowered. Well, the car's lowered from standard. Front shocks, £150 each from Suzuki UK. Bump stops because the old ones are missing or broken normally. All the parts are coded blue. The front shocks appear to be oil filled only and not gas. So coming up is the quick procedure. This job's pretty easy. So there's some feel of the old shocks in comparison. Obviously that's low speed damping. Who knows how they will behave under high speed. I would have replaced the top rubber, but Suzuki are telling me they don't have any at the moment. So if your top mounts don't look clean, they're probably old and they're probably knackered. I'd recommend replacing the rear springs first and the dampers if possible. Coming up, the long version. So here's the old shock. Get some light on it. 2 bolts on the bottom. Unclip the brake pipe. Remove the ABS sensor strain relief. So these 2 bolts on the bottom. Don't mess around, use a breaker bar or an impact wrench. These are new bolts because I've already had all this apart for the wheel bearing job and the top mounts previously. So get all this free, make sure the strut's ready to come off at the bottom. Take off these 2 M8s, well, take off the furthest nut on the back here. And then leave the other one finger tight and have one hand ready to catch the strut. It's a little bit stuck on the bottom here, but just lever the strut away from the upright and carefully remove the strut without catching the brake pipe or the ABS wiring. So you could probably get this job done in a couple of hours if you're well organised. Now measure this dimension here before you split the strut apart and preset the spring to that height. That's what I didn't do, just makes it fiddly and hard work and dangerous. The offside strut was completely knackered. This one was just tired. So nice to get new stuff together. Obviously you should buy a new dust cover and bump stop, but again that adds maybe 50-60 quid or some ridiculous amount to the cost. Festering wheel cleaner bucket. As you can see, I get a bit carried away with this. I spray some Corosol fallout remover on this. The plastic's embedded with metal dust from the brake, but I couldn't get it out. Possibly you could if you spent a lot of time on it. Here, the old bump stops still seem to be okay.
Aye.
Wasn't perished. As I mentioned, this spring seat rubber here should have been replaced, but they have none, and I would have painted the cup as well. The bearing is new. Do refer to the manual because this has a correct orientation. So if you don't know what you're doing here, be aware that you can kill yourself with these spring compressors here. Always have it facing away from you. Try and keep your fingers away in case something slips, because it will go off like a bomb. Also, as I mentioned, watching this back, the correct way is to preset the height of the spring, so you can plop the mount straight on and do up the nut. Safety first. And rod will drop back down again of its own accord. Here's where we're fiddling around, because I've done it the hard way. So you need to either use so this is a 17mm socket with a nut welded on the end. You can buy these sockets, and then a long series Allen key down the centre. You can't do these up with an impact gun and not hold the centre. Apparently people have tried. Also make sure the damper rod's centred correctly and you don't mash up the plastic thrust bearing. The assembly should turn easily by hand once you've got the weight of the spring back on the cup. Let's do check here. 50 Newton meters on this. I know I use a 1/2 inch drive Allen key on these because they tend to be pretty tight. You don't want to be messing about with any flimsy Allen keys on this. You want top quality ones, because if you round it off you'll be screwed. So that was easy. We're on our way back in now. The GoPro's on my head, so some of the details hidden. It's not perfect recording this time. There's only one camera and it's on my head. So just get your one nut on the top. Clip in your pipe. Turn the wheel. Give you access on this, make it easy, don't struggle. Plus gas is your friend here, so you would have already freed all these up and re-tapped them if they needed it. Do these to the Suzuki spec tightness, or we'll just get a feel for it. Obviously the M8 can't be too tight. Again, these are subjectively done up tight, but I think I'm 105 Newton meters, but I'm guessing here. So it's all back on. go back to my earlier videos to see the wheel bearing. This one seems really nice now. Well, it's new, so it should be. I knew this buckle was here. These wheels were an eBay bargain. I have other wheels as well, just a spare set. Obviously this is an MOT pass, as was the wobbly wheel bearing and the wobbly track rod end. So we're gradually getting the car into a roadworthy state, regardless of the lax MOT standards. I don't know what it takes for someone to actually just buy a new shock, but there you go. Though you should replace them in pairs. One tired shock and one new shock is better than one knackered shock, in my opinion. 90 quid on eBay from Suzuki Direct. Take it or leave it. Your shock's on. Pretty easy job. Getting the bump stop on, not so easy. Need to push it on the rod through the centre, and also put a bit of fairy liquid on to help you. I think it's seated correctly. If it falls off and goes missing, I've got another one. Itself, and buying new nuts and bolts for this job. The top ones are extremely long. The one on the other side was very seized. They make them very long, so in assembly they can hang the axle onto their car easily. The bolts have a self-tapping action or a slot to help clear the hole. I nearly forgot to put the spring back in. Needs compressing to get in. The previous National Tyre Fitter chain had broken the old bump stop. And we'd also charged £340 for a pair of rear springs, or basically doubled the 180, which is the Suzuki cost of a pair of these. I would recommend doing the rear of the car first. If your car has tired suspension, which it probably has, unless it's really low mileage. Compared to other Ignises, this car had a very nice ride on the back, thanks to the new springs. So just check everything's seated correctly. As I say, I gave the bump stop a tug to make sure the little spigot in the middle had pushed through the hole. Let's see how we go here. Seems to have got it. So a quick trip to the pub. So the car still needs tracking, which I struggle to find anyone who can do that. And also I shall throw in some new bushes on the front, and clutch, head gasket part 3.
Just the jump. Yeah.
So I hope this helps. Hope you're getting your Ignises out for the summer. Hopefully everything's going well for you. Hope you're driving them.